Now, I'm sure that most of you realize that I have not been doing as many sports takes as of late. The reason why, really, to tell you the truth, is because I'm just not as emotionally attached to it. However, this right here is a case where I think that sports really and truly needs to be talked about, especially in the vein of our culture, because sports and American culture actually kind of go hand in hand. Sports can be used as a tool to unite the country. It can also be used as a tool to actually divide the country, especially amongst fan bases. You see, you go from rooting for your team and rooting against another team to suddenly not liking even members of your own club because of their actual political beliefs. That's exactly how far back we've gone in this country, and I think this is an issue that we need to talk about. Now, guys, I was tempted to jump on this Brittney Griner issue earlier. However, I wanted to get a little bit more information and get basically the whole entire picture. And of course, as a result of this, we get some very, very dumb takes. Now, guys, before we start this video talking about Brittney Griner, I want to let you know right off the bat that we will be doing more sports takes because sports and culture obviously go hand in hand. And I've been doing a lot less of them, mainly because I've just been less emotionally attached to it. And I think there's been issues that, quite frankly, were bigger that were going on in the world today. But of course, we need to talk about this because this right kind of shows you exactly how far back we've kind of gone in our culture. Now, guys, the source material of this video will not just be Brittney Griner, of course, being in Russia, being locked up in Russia, but it'll also be about LeBron James' very, very dumb takes and why it is that this attitude has kind of led to a decline in not only the WNBA, which, by the way, was never actually popular, and, of course, the decline of the NBA as a whole. So this video here is probably going to be a little bit long, a little bit lengthy, so make sure you guys stick around for the full video. And with that there out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys know that Brittney Griner, a WNBA basketball star, she was in Russia a few months back or a couple of months back, and, of course, when she was trying to come home, she had just very, very minimal amount of a banned substance. Now, obviously, I cannot actually state what the actual substance is because YouTube right now, of course, they're still kind of shadow banning my channel, and I'm trying to figure out a way to break out. So I'm trying to be a little bit more professional in these videos versus actually being raw like I normally am. But trust me, I know it sucks because I prefer to be actually raw. But then again, though, being professional about things could actually sharpen the actual argument. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this. So Brittney Griner, of course, she made some noise back in, I think it was 2020 and 2021. Of course, she's an SJW. She did not think that the national anthem should be played no longer be played in the WNBA. Almost like the rest of her cohorts, like LeBron James and many other social justice warrior activist athletes who, quite frankly, feel it upon their they feel that it's on their shoulders to let you, the little people, know that you're not living the right kind of lifestyle. America is so oppressive. It's so extremely oppressive. It's so oppressive that this country has produced more black millionaires than any other nation in the world, and it's not even close. LeBron James makes millions and millions and millions a year off of basketball, and of course he makes millions a year, obviously, through endorsements and money, and of course he's got his own show here on YouTube. Of course, that there is The Shop. Of course, The Shop was kicked off of HBO. They'll tell you that they moved it from HBO, but the ratings were pretty piss poor. Don't worry, I'll leave a video in the description box, and I'll leave some links as well to kind of explain that. So LeBron, of course, he goes and he does a little spiel in The Shop, which, by the way, we'll get to, where he mentions that maybe Brittney doesn't feel like, maybe she doesn't feel like America has got her back. Let's go ahead and roll this.
I was trying to imagine it, and it's hard for me to even put myself into what she's going through. Like, she's such a great human being, a great person. Obviously, I've been in her presence a few times, and, you always feel like, if you're from a certain place, you always feel like they got your back. And in a sense, like, now, how could she feel like America has her back? Like, I would be feeling like, do I even want to go back to America if I've been gone over 130 days and I feel like it's been zero effort?
Let me go ahead and answer that. And by the way, we will get to you because Braun has said some other stupid crap here recently that, quite frankly, we got to get into to kind of help break down why it is these people may just have done it to themselves. So Brittney Griner, as I mentioned before, she's not exactly a fan of the United States. She voted for Joe Biden, okay? She's been sending out letters. Her family's been sending out letters. And by the way, the Biden administration has said that Brittney is on our list to take care of. But, in a lot of ways, they're also saying she's not exactly a top priority. Funny how they voted for Biden, the same guy who was given the Russia file for 8 years when he was vice president of the United States under Barack Obama. And, of course, he kept on saying that Putin doesn't want to face me. Putin does not want anything to do with me. Yet, since you've been in office, You gave him 16 targets to hit with cyber attacks, Joe. You also turned right back around and then you removed the Nord 2 pipeline, which, by the way, gave Russia every incentive to invade. You've sent weapons over there. It's not really working. You're sending all of our taxpayer dollars over there. And by the way, Ukraine's a very, very corrupt place. And we could go for hours and hours and hours on why it is so corrupt. But here it is. Your boy Joe has not came through for you. Yes, Biden has not came through. Biden has not negotiated a single move. Now, really quick, that guy you hated, that president you hated, Donald Trump, the same person that you kept accusing of being a Russian agent, you know, he bombed a Syrian air base with Russians on it. He also threatened to nuke Moscow. Also something else, too. I want to say it was LiAngelo. It may have been LaMelo Ball. They were in China, and they got in trouble, and Trump was able to negotiate the release there. Don't you maybe think that maybe it's possible if Trump had been in office, Brittney Griner, even though he's not a fan of hers and she's not a fan of his, don't you think it's possible that he may have put in a call and said, hey, Vlad, can you release this girl really quick? Or can you at least tell me what it is this girl did to get in trouble? I can't really do a good Russian accent. I apologize. Okay. But still, at the same time, though, you think to yourself, man, this is very, very small, very, very minimal amount of a banned substance. Man, this girl's going to jail. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but see, here in the United States, if you got caught with something like that, there more than likely they would just hold you, detain you, and of course you'd come right back to court at a later date, and they probably would have let you go with like a very small fine, maybe a little bit of community service. But in Russia, because Russia is not the United States, it's actually a repressive country, they actually hold you and jail you for years. You see, even though Russia is not communistic anymore, it is definitely much, much more repressive. And of course, LeBron, Brittney Griner, these people always complain that the United States is so freaking bad, but yet they've got millions and millions and millions of dollars in their bank accounts because the United States was the only place in the world that would have actually given them the opportunity to do what it is that they do. Almost forgot, guys. LeBron James, his head is so far up his own rear that he actually thought that he could trademark and buy the phrase shut up and dribble. You know that phrase that Laura Ingraham from Fox News used on LeBron after he had one of his hissy fits and he decided he wanted to get all political, and she said, do us a favor and shut up and dribble. Yeah, fans, of course, would really and truly like LeBron to just shut up and dribble, but of course he thinks he's so smug that he can actually pay to trademark that phrase. You want to know why it is that America does not fully have her back in this situation, LeBron? I'll go ahead and tell you right now why it is. Because you guys have been lecturing us. You guys have been telling us how bad you have it when you've gotten millions of dollars in your bank account, okay? Even though the WNBA completely sucks, the American people are not exactly impressed with you. We're not exactly happy with you guys lecturing us every day, day after day after day, hour after hour, how we're in the wrong, even though we don't even make even a fraction of what the hell you make. Our living conditions are a lot worse than yours. And we get tired of being lectured to by people like Brittney Griner and her family. We get tired of being lectured to by you. But here's the deal, though, and here's where this entire thing is going to get a little bit spicier in this video. And it's taken a while for me to do this, but LeBron, his show, The Shop, I may have mentioned this earlier, it was on HBO. And, of course, it was pulled from HBO. They said that they moved it to YouTube, which, by the way, is actually a lie. What really happened was that HBO couldn't get any actual ratings. That right there should have been sign number one, because you see a lot of people who have HBO Max don't want to be lectured to as well. They want to tune in and watch great shows like The Sopranos, which, by the way, is an old show. You know, I think it's Deadwood. A lot of great content on HBO. It's not gone completely woke yet, so people still have that little bastion to go to for entertainment. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to Bomani Jones. And by the way, you know, a lot of people are starting to get a little bit wary of Bill Maher. Of course, Bill Maher is not a conservative. He hates anybody who disagrees with him, too. Even though he's been red-pilled by the LGBTQ issue, I think that there's a different reason why he's been red-pilled on that right there. I may do another video on that at a later date after God knows I've done enough. But here's the thing, though, Bron. People are getting tired of being lectured to. And then, of course, you make this type of comment here.
They can literally take the game from you.
I mean, Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Why do you hate Boston?
Because they racist as that's why.
Guys, I had to include that comment, even though I know that it was mostly made in jest. Now, guys, before we go any further, I want to kind of show you guys the rest of the Good Morning America clip, then we will come right back to it.
Comments made by LeBron James in the latest episode of his show, The Shop.
In basketball, they're fans that you go play a way that they can literally take the game from you.
I mean, Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Why do you hate Boston?
Because they racist as that's That's
they're
why.
nasty.
In a candid conversation, James and other notable figures discussed how fans and sportsmanship can shape their experiences. James citing taunts and an incident 10 years ago in which a fan poured beer on top of his head.
They might throw something on you. I mean, I got a beer thrown on me leaving the game.
Boston resident reacting to James's latest claims.
I hate that he said Boston fans are racist when, 75% of us are not.
They always have something against us.
I don't know another town that says whatever we want like Boston. Boston says whatever they want.
James, who last year became a part owner of the Red Sox, also alleging some Boston fans wore T-shirts with expletives next to his initials. A Celtics spokesperson told the Boston Globe that
Kendrick Perkins, one of the few decent people on ESPN, and don't worry, I'll have a decline of ESPN video out in the near future as well. Kendrick Perkins, he had a much better take on this. You see, Kendrick Perkins actually played in Boston with the actual Celtics himself. Played for about 8 or 9 years, and he had a very special take on the fans in Boston. You see, Boston is mostly white. It's, by the way, mostly a white liberal town. They love their Celtics. They love their Red Sox. And by the way, Bron, as we just found out, and as I've known him for a while, you're part owner of the Boston Red Sox. So why in the world would you go out of your way to insult the entire fans of a team of which a city that, quite frankly, you own? Not exactly very smart. You see, guys, the theme of this video, and I know it's taken a while, is that people like Brittney Griner and people like LeBron James, they kind of sort of create their own drama. They believe their own drama, and they believe their own hype. This is who these people are. They create the drama, then they try to scream victim. Oh, poor me, I'm oppressed. Meanwhile, they got millions of dollars in their account. Then they come out here and think they can lecture you, and then they complain when it is that you don't do what it is that they want to do. Now, guys, like I said before, Brittney Griner is in Russia. Me personally, I could care less. Most of the American people could, in fact, care less. So, LeBron, why are you surprised that the American people and America itself doesn't really and truly view her as a priority? I mean, she broke the law over there. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Going back to the fans. And you see, this right here to me is very important. And, of course, I'm going to close the video after this clip here on a bit of a monologue. Now, guys, Kendrick Perkins, I mentioned him earlier. He had a take on this entire ordeal. His take, quite frankly, was much more nuanced. I'm going to let him roll. Of course, you're going to have to deal with the copyright thing, which, by the way, you're mostly going to hear his actual voice because ESPN now copyright strikes people for whatever reason, of course, because it's Disney. It's owned by Disney. But let's go ahead and roll it.
But at the end of the day, here's what I want to say. It's racism everywhere. And I would tell people, I would say this to a lot of people. I spent 8.5 years there. And maybe because I was on the Celtics, I didn't experience racism. And I think people who live in Boston and people who move to Boston, like if you play for the Patriots and you're in the New England area, or you play for the Bruins, or you play for the Red Sox, or you play for the Celtics, and you get a chance to get there, you will see it's all different type of cultures and everything. So you actually have to move around the city of Boston. Now, I will say this. The fans in Boston do cross the line and hit below the belt when it comes down to being disrespectful. And I could say throwing stuff at players like LeBron talk about had a beer being thrown at him. We saw a water bottle get chunked at Kyrie Irving. We heard the fans chant some certain type of things when it came down to Kyrie Irving. And even when we was playing against the Cavaliers, when LeBron James was dropping those...
Here's the reason why I've used Kendrick Perkins. Here's the reason why. Kendrick Perkins understands that basketball, baseball, sports in general, guess what? Fans are going to be fans. Philadelphia fans. I think it was Eli Manning who said that kids scream massive amounts of obscenities at him, even giving the middle finger. Fans in Chicago, I know they can be rough. Atlanta fans, a little bit nicer, but they can get a little bit gaming. I highly suggest you guys go take a look at the fan reaction to the 2012 wildcard game between the Braves and the Cardinals. By the way, as a Braves fan, I can say that the Braves' gripe was completely legitimate. Also, something else, too. Fans in Miami, for the most part, are very, very nice, but they can get a little bit gamey. Bron, you've played in Brooklyn. You've played in New York. You know how New York fans can be. So are you surprised that Boston fans were a little bit out of control? Are you surprised that they went a little bit too far? By the way, guys, this is what fans do. You see, the game is about the fans. You unite people, and you can also divide people. You think that maybe people are acting a certain way towards you because you've, quite frankly, pissed them off. You've actually passed judgment on them. They want to show up to watch a game and not be judged. And by the way, you've made the game a lot worse. Go back to this past NBA Finals when Klay Thompson and Steve Kerr and the entire Golden State Warriors, a team that, by the way, outside of Steve Kerr, was not quote-unquote woke. The American people at least had the Warriors. And they were out there complaining about the fans and the way the fans treat them, how unprofessional they are. Guys, you're professional sports stars. You get paid millions and millions and millions of freaking dollars. Grow an actual thick skin. Grow a pair of balls and learn to take it like a freaking man. I could take insults all day for a mere fraction of what the hell you guys get in a year. And yet you guys still get to come over here and complain about it and cause all kinds of problems in the media. And yes, of course, get to scream race. End the video on this note right here. Now, guys, there's a bit of a primer for like a fall of the NBA video. It's a bit of a primer right there. But see, LeBron, Brittney Griner, all you people out there who are just so woke and whatnot, if you really and truly want to know why it is that we don't want Brittney Griner home, it's because of you guys. You see, you guys made this entire issue a lot worse. You decided you want to complain about the nation, create a bunch of issues that, quite frankly, were not even real. Scream racism, scream oppression. Meanwhile, you've got millions of dollars in your account. Come off as a complete, total freaking hypocrite. Get paid by YouTube, get paid by HBO, get paid by anybody and everybody in the world, and now you've got a platform and you use it to cry and whine, crying like a damn girl, crying like a damn chick. This right here is the main reason why we, for the most part, the American people, and by the way, we already know Joe ain't going to do anything. As a matter of fact, if he did do something, we'd probably get pissed off over it because we're all screaming, keep her ass over there, let her stay over there. The reason why we don't care and the reason why we don't have this girl's back is because she pissed on our own country. She complained about our own country. Then she gets locked up in a country that's 100 times more repressive, an actual repressive nation. And yet here you guys are complaining about it and complaining about us. You see, you can't have it both ways. You need to understand that this country right here, this right here is your bread and butter. This right here is the country that, quite frankly, made you. This right here is the country that gave you the opportunity. This country has produced more black millionaires than any other country in the world, even more than Africa. Okay? Let that there sink in. This right here is the reason why we do not care about Brittney Griner and we do not care if she remains in Russia. Guys, John Claymore, if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. We will be doing more sports takes in the future, and I will see you guys later.